In Kenya, music has always been more than entertainment. It's a way of life, from the rhythm of traditional drums echoing through the villages to booming matatu speakers blaring the latest club bangers. Music is woven into every fabric of Kenyan society. Over the years, we've seen Kenyan music grow, each time pushing boundaries and giving us fresh beats that make us dance before we even know the lyrics. But what really defines Kenyan music? What is Kenyan music? You see, Nigerians have Afrobeats, Tanzanians have Bongo flavor, and compared to them, our music doesn't have recognition in the same way. But one thing Kenyan music has, it's the ability to blend local influences into fresh, innovative sounds. Kenyan music is not confined to a single genre or sound, it thrives on experimentation, adaptability, and evolution. In many ways, this versatility is the defining trait of Kenyan music. But if we really want to understand how Kenyan music has grown and evolved into what it is today, we have to take a step back and look at the genres that played a major role in shaping its identity to what it is today. And one such defining genre is Genge. Genge is a genre of Kenyan music that emerged in the late 90s as a response to changing social and cultural landscape of the time. It originated in urban neighborhoods of Nairobi, particularly in areas like Eastlands, where young artists and musicians sought to express their experiences and reflect the realities of the community through music. The term Genge itself is a Swahili slang word that means group or gang, reflecting the sense of brotherhood and belonging among the artists who pioneered the very genre. Genge was characterized by its raw style, which drew influences from various genres such as hip-hop, dancehall, and even traditional Kenyan music. Genge lyrics often spoke about the realities of life, addressing hard topics like street life and social issues. The genre provided a platform for artists to express their creativity, voice their perspectives, and connect with their audiences on a relatable level. This relatability is what has allowed Genge to endure and stay relevant over the years, each time growing and evolving by incorporating different influences from different musical trends worldwide. Years later, the groundwork that Genge laid would pave the way for a new chapter in Kenyan music, one that took the energy and street authenticity of Genge and amplified it into something bold and, to put it simply, unapologetically Kenyan. And if you know what I'm talking about, you already know that I'm talking about Gengetone. To put it simple, Gengetone is essentially a subgenre of Genge. Pretty much like its predecessor, it draws influences from popular genres like dancehall and hip-hop to create a sound that can best be described as raw and, as I've said before, unapologetically Kenyan. Characterized by its hard beats, streetwise lyrics, and often explicit content, Gengetone was also created to speak directly to the youth, to reflect their realities and experiences. The genre's name is a fusion of Genge, which, as I've said before, means mass, multitude, or brotherhood, and the tone meant to represent the distinctive sound it was trying to create. Or probably, I'm not so sure. Gengetone went on to dominate the Kenyan music scene starting from the late 10s, with underground artists from all corners of the country jumping in on this rising trend. New music groups like Ethics, Sailors, Boondocks Gang, and even Ochungulo Family quickly became household names, each showcasing their talents and bringing their own unique flavor to this new emerging genre. However, as the saying goes, the higher you climb, the more stones they throw, and boy did they throw them stones. Gengetone, with its rise in popularity, started to face heavy criticism, with many haters finding its lyrics crude and unrefined, accusing the genre of promoting a hedonistic lifestyle that, to put it lightly, glorified nothing meaningful. They frequently condemned Gengetone for its explicit content, saying it was filled with themes of violence and the glamorization of street culture, which to them seemed shallow and empty, just like my bank account. Yet, if anything, this rawness and explicit nature of Gengetone only mirrored the realities many youths had faced, exposing their frustrations, desires, and struggles of urban life. The lyrics didn't create the issues, they simply reflected a changing culture, forcing us to confront with these uncomfortable truths. The critics argued that regardless, this type of content promoted bad values among the youth, given that the large proportion of Gengetone's audience was young people, especially high school students, and that there was growing concerns about the influence such explicit content could have on their impressionable minds. The fear was that the genre's celebration of reckless behavior might encourage a generation to embrace negative values. But if we're really being honest, other musical genres like hip-hop and dancehall have done the same, and sometimes even worse. Hip-hop, especially in its early days, frequently glorified violence, drug dealings, and objectification of women. Yet, when ghetto kids in Kenya express themselves through Gengetone, the backlash somehow feels different. Instead of being seen as an honest reflection of the Nairobi streets, it's criticized as promoting moral decay and corruption. How come? Songs like Wamlambez and Lambalolo were quickly labeled as problematic, with authorities even banning their performances in public spaces. Gengetone artists were treated as though their music was a moral threat, rather than an unfiltered expression of the struggles many of these artists had faced. The double standard is hard to ignore here. When similar themes are explored in Western music, especially in English, they are often praised as art or culture. But when Kenyan ghetto kids share their tough realities, it's seen as corrupting. Why is their story considered a threat rather than a reflection of their lived experience? The same streets that American rappers rap about are no different from those in Nairobi, probably. Yet, the judgment somehow seems harsher when it's homegrown. Could it be there are musical cartels trying to keep people from low backgrounds from making it big? Or is it just simply about promoting a respectable image of music? That being said, I'm not suggesting this was the best path for Gengetone. The genre's focus on shallow content like explicit partying and reckless behavior limited its potential for deeper storytelling. Instead of sparking conversation about poverty, inequality, or the urban struggles this artist faced, Gengetone often celebrated the struggles it portrayed. For example, the song Wamlambez became a viral hit not for its depth, but for its catchy, carefree nature. While this captured the essence of street life, it missed a chance to provoke thought or inspire change. But music doesn't need to be all about change or anything meaningful. Sometimes you just want to listen and enjoy it. I guess what I'm trying to say is that Gengetone was an emerging genre that lacked proper guidance. With more mentorship like what hip-hop eventually found through some of its conscious rappers, maybe Gengetone could have grown into something more powerful. Could have been a genre that not only reflected the raw realities of Kenyan life, but also served as a catalyst for change. In the end, the lyrics might have played a role in Gengetone's decline, but blaming them entirely misses the bigger picture. You see, success in the music industry isn't just about talent. It's about how that talent is managed. Internal conflict over resources, poor decision-making, and a lack of strategic direction drained the energy that once fueled Gengetone's rise. And as Gengetone's popularity was dwindling, Gengetone evolved. Out of its raw and polished roots emerged Arbatone, a reimagined and refined version of Gengetone. So, what is Arbatone? Arbatone is essentially the newest evolution in Kenyan music scene. Essentially a rebranded and more refined version of Gengetone, as I've said before. It takes the raw energy of Gengetone and smooths it out. The result is a sound that feels fresh and distinctly Kenyan with more appeal. Arbatone frequently borrows beats, melodies, and rhythms from older tracks, working them into a sound that feels both nostalgic and new. This practice not only pays homage to original pioneers of Kenyan music, but also creates a fresh listening experience while still bridging generations and introducing sounds to younger audiences. By doing so, Arbatone ensures the legacy of Kenyan music continues to evolve. There really isn't all that much to talk about when it comes to Arbatone, since it's a new genre, but considering what it's doing already, Arbatone has the potential to be great. It's already showing signs of being more commercially viable than Gengetone, and with the right artists and collaborations, it could take Kenyan music to the global stage. However, its success will depend on how well it balances Kenyan's identity with broader appeal. If it loses touch with its roots, it risks becoming just another generic sound. But if it continues to innovate while still staying true to its culture, Arbatone could very well be a defining sound of modern Kenyan music. As we look to the future, one thing remains clear. The beauty of Kenyan music lies in its refusal to be pinned down, choosing instead to remain as dynamic and unpredictable as our nation itself. So from the rawness of Genge, which was full of energy, to the unfiltered audacity of Gengetone that made parents shake their heads, teenagers shake their, well, everything, and now to Arbatone, Each genre has been building on the past while craving its own vibe. This evolution isn't just about beats or lyrics, it's about the creativity of Kenyan artists. All this proving that Kenyan music is alive, constantly changing, finding new ways to keep us dancing. And though Kenyan music might not be the biggest thing on the global scene right now, I mean, who cares? Because we are listening, and that's all that matters. So leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one.